Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Tonight, we turn to one of the most closely watched and controversial cases in the world of entertainment and law, the legal downfall of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, once hailed as a pioneer of hip-hop, a business icon.
Hollywood ranks.
Diddy was born in Harlem. After his father was murdered, he went to an all-boys Catholic school and then went off to Howard University. And that's when he started throwing these parties. And Diddy was always the life of the party. People would bring their artists to Diddy. And we're starting to see videos of that.
Yet it wasn't all highs for the superstar. Over the years, Diddy's fame came with several run-ins with the law, one of the most infamous being Combs' arrest in 1999.
Combs now finds himself at the center of a dramatic courtroom battle that has gripped the nation. From the height of fame and influence to facing the possibility of more than a decade in prison, this is a story that spans decades of success, allegations, and ultimately, accountability. Sean Combs rose to prominence in the 1990s as the founder of Bad Boy Records, shaping the sound of modern hip-hop and launching the careers of stars such as the Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and Maze. His influence extended beyond music into fashion, television, and business, where he cultivated an image of relentless ambition, innovation, and power. But behind the glitz and glamour, troubling allegations would slowly surface. Allegations that painted a very different picture of one of the industry's most powerful men. The case that brought Combs into federal court began with mounting accusations of abuse and misconduct. In 2023, singer and former partner Cassandra Cassie Ventura filed a bombshell lawsuit, alleging years of emotional, physical, and sexual abuse at the hands of Combs. That lawsuit was settled quickly out of court, but it opened the floodgates. Within months, several other women came forward, sharing stories of manipulation, coercion, and violence. Federal prosecutors began building a wider case, alleging that Combs used his power, wealth, and influence to exploit women and maintain a pattern of abuse. The trial that followed would become one of the most highly publicized proceedings of the decade. Prosecutors charged Combs with racketeering, sex trafficking, and violations of the Mann Act, a law that prohibits transporting individuals across state lines for illicit purposes. While he was ultimately acquitted of the most serious charges of racketeering and sex trafficking, the jury found him guilty on 2 counts under the Mann Act, ruling that he knowingly arranged for women to be transported for sexual encounters that he orchestrated and filmed. Prosecutors have argued forcefully for a sentence of at least 11 years in federal prison, saying that Combs has shown no remorse, that he used his power to abuse women over a period of years, and that his crimes deserve a significant punishment. In court filings, they described him as unrepentant, manipulative, and dangerous, quoting victim testimony and highlighting violent incidents captured in evidence. The defense, however, has presented a very different narrative. Combs' attorneys have urged the judge to consider a much lighter sentence, requesting no more than 14 months. They argue that Combs has already endured significant punishment through his incarceration leading up to sentencing, that he has made strides toward rehabilitation, and that his actions, while unlawful, were mischaracterized. In a striking legal argument, his defense has even described him as an amateur pornographer rather than a trafficker, claiming that his conduct fell under the umbrella of consensual adult activity, however inappropriate it may appear. At the heart of the case is the testimony of Cassie Ventura. In a powerful impact statement, she told the court about years of manipulation, violence, and fear, saying that she continues to live with trauma and anxiety from her relationship with Combs. Her plea to the judge was clear: to impose a sentence that reflected the seriousness of the harm she and others endured, and to send a message that power and celebrity cannot shield someone from justice. The public response has been deeply divided. Some fans and industry colleagues have expressed disbelief, clinging to the image of Combs as an innovator and philanthropist. Others have said the trial confirms what many suspected for years, that behind the fame was a man who used his position to exploit and harm. Across social media and in the press, debates rage about accountability, celebrity culture, and the balance between talent and responsibility. The sentencing is scheduled for October 3rd. Judge Arun Subramanian will weigh the arguments from both sides, consider the victim impact statements, and make a ruling that could determine whether Sean Combs spends more than a decade behind bars, or whether he receives a far lighter penalty. Legal analysts say the decision will resonate far beyond this courtroom, serving as a precedent for how powerful figures in entertainment are held accountable for abuses of power. As the nation waits, one thing is clear: this case marks a turning point. For decades, Sean "Diddy" Combs built an empire on ambition, talent, and influence. Now, his legacy is being redefined not by chart-topping hits or business deals, but by a trial that exposed a darker side of fame and forced the world to reckon with the costs of unchecked power. From trial to sentencing, this is the story of a fall from grace that few could have imagined, but one that will not soon be forgotten.